in the cabbage.
Welcome to In the Cabbage. This is crazy.
This is pretty bananas right now that we're actually doing this.
I'm Tommy Swain, Andrew Witt. Please subscribe, please listen, please download, like. And just a reminder, keep swinging. Welcome back to In the Cabbage. It's your boy, Tommy Swain. To my right or your left, Andrew Witt.
Yo, what up, fam?
What is up? We are back after a hiatus, and we're probably going to take another one because of Christmas break coming up.
We love our little hiatuses, but we come back fresh, energized. For sure. At least this episode, I'm feeling great.
Last episode was a snooze fest.
Yeah. It's not our strongest showing, that's for sure.
No, you know what? When you record at 9 p.m., and you travel and you got work going on, it just doesn't happen for you, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's just throw in kids right into the mix, too.
Oh, my God.
Could you imagine when that happens?
You know what?
That's what we're going to start getting, maybe some early morning pods on the weekend or something.
We got to switch it up somehow. When that
yeah,
happens.
we have to.
Kids pod. We can have like a daddy advice podcast.
That'd be fun.
Do that. Because you know you're having girls.
I am fully prepared to have girls.
Yeah,
I'm ready for it. I also think, too, we just had 3 kids in our office. All 3 of them are boys. Katie's entire family, all boys. My entire family, all boys.
Wow.
The tides are going to turn at some point.
Wow.
And not for the better or worse, honestly. I'm just like fully prepared to have girls. And
your mom had just a sister, no brothers. Right?
Yeah. Yeah,
and
my mom's side was even, right? Like my grandma had 2 girls. Okay, got it. Grandma was 8 and 8. My dad's side very limited, but also like my aunt had 2 sons. Obviously, my grandparents 1 son.
Right.
But Katie's side of the family, she's the only girl. I don't know. I don't know.
That's crazy. Only girl. I mean, the amount of spoiledness that probably comes from being the only girl in the family is unbound.
I'm sure.
You know, I was the first grandson, and I felt like a king for a while. On one side of the family. But anywho, brother, I think we're going to get back to a little bit more of a structured podcast for the people here.
Okay.
And we're going to get back to a little bit into the sports off the top. We're going to hit it with a new segment, and then we'll get a little bit more personal things spin off of it, maybe a couple of story times, what's going on with us, finish off the podcast, head home. How does it sound?
Let's rock and roll.
Let's do it. All right, so some great topics came up in sports. We're going to hit some of the negative ones first here, starting off with Nick Sirianni getting pushed away by the D-line coach.
Yeah, so
the Eagles in general.
I actually haven't heard about that.
Okay, so essentially Nick Sirianni, who might be like the most disrespected winning head coach of all time.
I honestly,
like no one respects him.
I honestly don't like him at all. He just kind of like looks like just a child at times to me. He just gives me the ick.
He doesn't. I guess like not even just you. Philadelphia doesn't know if they like him or not. But like the 4 seasons he's been a coach, I haven't really seen him lose. Besides one really bad season last year.
Yeah, and that was just in the back half of the year.
Everything else they've been winning.
Yeah.
So it's not like he doesn't have a proven track record of winning coaching. It just looks like the Eagles are winning in spite of him, not with him. Like he isn't.
Yeah.
Looks like he hasn't moved the ball forward, and I bet you that's not the case, but that's the image I get.
That's fair. Because they just had a franchise record 10 wins in a row.
Right. And then this D-line. So I guess Nick Sirianni was going to go up to a D-line player and say something to him, get in his face, maybe, do something. And the D-line coach stepped in and told him to like back off. Got in a little like heated argument on the sideline over the last game.
Okay.
I just find it weird that like you can do that to a coach, especially a head coach that's winning. Maybe that's just the culture he's portrayed where like, it's very Eagles. You can say whatever you want to whoever you want. I don't know.
I find it very strange, especially when a positional coach. I mean, is this the defensive coordinator or D-line coach?
D-line coach.
That to me just seems weird. I don't know. I can't find a scenario where you were saying that anyone can say anything at any given time. I find it very abstract in the sense that the head coach should be able to almost say whatever they want to any player, to any coach, because he's the head coach and he's got the vision. Now, if you're primarily a dominant offensive-minded coach, okay, sure, maybe you like go and check in with the defensive line coach for X, Y, and Z, and then they can maybe relay the message on over. But I don't know. That seems strange that the D-line coach would just immediately cut off Sirianni. It almost seems like it's like kind of like an FU moment, right?
Yeah, it was kind of an FU moment. Like, hey, don't talk to these players like that, or like, we don't need your opinions here. Just the Eagles are a weird franchise. Like, A.J. Brown coming out and complaining about, like, what's the one thing they need to work on? Passing. Because he's not getting the ball enough. Like, bro, you're winning games. You have the best running back in the league right now who's absolutely torching people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not going to get the ball thrown to you very much.
Sure.
And Jalen Hurts can run the fuck out of the rock.
Mm-hmm.
So when people are biting on Saquon Barkley on the read options, Jalen Hurts is just taking off for another 15.
Sure. It's not a bad thing.
Now, they force-fed him last game because he wanted to complain enough, which I'm so over. These wide receivers like whining and complaining about not getting the ball. And then the next game they come out and they force-feed him. Mm-hmm. Romeo Doubs did earlier this year. Got kicked out of practice for, being a bad teammate. Next game, force-fed the ball. And it's like you're forcing your team into a hand. Yes, A.J. Brown should be getting the ball way more often than he does. He's like one of the best wide receivers in the league. But you're winning games. It's not,
Yeah, and you're not winning games by narrow margins. You're winning games by 2-3 touchdowns at a time.
Yeah,
so
and you're having like a really good season. So like, what's going on? Why are you being a me guy right now?
Sure. Like, players would kill to be in that position because they're winning so many games. They're one of the front runners to be in the Super Bowl. So just shut your mouth and you're getting paid $30 million a year, whether you get the ball or not. Maybe you don't get the incentives, but you're still winning a ton of games. You're getting paid money. So like, I don't know what you're complaining about.
Yeah. I mean, I get the incentive thing. I didn't think about that.
But it's not game-changing money where these guys are only getting paid $250,000 a year. And then now on top of that with their incentives, now they get $1 million. That's not the case at all.
Yeah, I'm sure they all get a Super Bowl bonus, playoff bonus, win your conference bonus, win the league.
Sure.
And also, if I was a wide receiver and I was on a run-heavy team, I would make it mandatory that I get like, if we don't throw the ball more than X amount of times in a year, then these incentives get easier by X amount of percentage we didn't hit.
Sure.
Because
that's a good way to do it.
It just doesn't make sense. Like, if he's worried about incentives, which fair, like I'd be pissed if I left $1 million on the table and I'm A.J. Brown and all I need to do is catch 1,000 yards or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're A.J. Brown, you should be able to do that. It's just,
I'm just over the egos, like you said. Yeah.
It's just tough. It's like, me, throw me the ball, let's do this. It's like, dude, you have Saquon jumping over people backwards right now. You got Jalen Hurts who scores a touchdown every single game.
Right.
You need 9 yards for a first down. You don't even need 10 yards anymore for a first down.
No, it's a great point.
Like,
honestly, you don't even need to do it in 3 downs.
Right. You have such a dynamic team right now that can actually win a Super Bowl. And you come out
and play the me card.
Right. And then he comes into the stupid Super Bowl celebration. And they're all doing it on the sideline.
Right.
Like, it's like, bro, so corny. Like, A.J. Brown comes and throws Jalen Hurts, who's supposed to be one of his best friends on the team. Mm-hmm. They used to live with each other. I guess from what Timmy told me, A.J. Brown's godfather to one of his children
is Jalen Hurts.
Is Jalen Hurts.
Oh, damn.
So,
okay.
like, for him to come out and say, like, one of our worst aspects is passing, like, Jalen Hurts doesn't look the same passer right now than he was in years prior, I think.
But he doesn't need to. And you know what? It's because he's got a dynamic run team at the moment. So I mean, he doesn't need to. He's only dropping back to pass 18 times a game.
You can't really find a rhythm nowadays with 18 passes.
Sure.
And your looks are probably not that crazy when you're throwing it 18 times. You don't need to hide that many packages.
No.
You don't need to be that tricky. You don't need to be like the line, like, you know.
And also, don't you want to save some of that potentially for the postseason?
You come out and you throw it 35 times
Sure.
to A.J. Brown. No one expects that. And you just start cooking people on the wing.
You think you're just loading up and now teams are just chasing, right? Because they weren't prepared.
Right.
To do that. I'm sure there's a game plan A, B, and C. I don't know. Actually, that would be something I would be curious about. Plan A for Saquon, plan B for A.J. Brown, plan C for Devontae Smith, and releasing, who knows? I don't know what that looks like. I'm sure there are levels of game planning, but don't you want to save some of those trick plays or save some of the play action or whatever? I get you want to work on that, but you're already working on that a lot in practice, I would think. So I don't know. I'm with you. One of the players that I love a bunch and always have is Justin Jefferson. I mean, that man barely says a damn thing. He catches the ball over the middle of the field on deep crossing routes, 12, 14, 15 yards, and is going to get drilled by safeties, and he catches every single one of them, gets lit up, and I don't really find him saying a bunch negative at the very least.
I'm always butcher his name, the wide receiver on Detroit,
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Doesn't say shit.
No.
He just goes out and does business, and he's not having even the most successful year that people thought he would have on this dynamic offensive team.
A lot of mouths to feed.
You got a whole lot of mouths to feed on this team.
Yeah.
So it's just A.J. Brown is not the first time he's done this either. On his prior team, he was bitching and complaining on the Titans as well. And that might be more rightfully so because he was on the Titans, but it just seems that that's who he is. And, another player that kind of let down some teams this weekend, Devontae Campbell on the 49ers in the third quarter that tells the coach he's not coming back in and doesn't want to play and leaves the game in the third quarter.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's also something I didn't hear anything about. Is he a good player? Because I don't know that name.
He's like an okay linebacker. Like he, I guess, was jaded because he wasn't getting reps that he probably should have on this team.
Is that in practice and in the
this was in the game.
Wasn't
getting the right amount of reps, I guess.
Okay.
And I was listening to Bustin' with the Boys podcast to hear their take on it and totally agree with them. They're like, well, it's going to be regret. You know, you get so bogged down by the narrow view you have of what you need to do in the NFL to keep a job. He's probably thinking, like, I haven't played all year. I got no tape. You throw me out on a game that we're playing shitty in. I got people behind me who are hurt now, and I'm, like, basically the only option. So now you're just throwing me out there, and I'm basically going to go and maybe hurt myself for next season when this season's kind of dead in the water at this point.
Sure.
No, I'm good. Like, I have no loyalties to you. Didn't really help me out either. Well, that's a bad way of looking at it. You got to look at it. You're going to come out there, get some good tape on. Maybe you get hurt. Maybe you don't. That's just part of the job you signed up for. But you can't give up on the team. Can't really put your team, because now the guys who maybe are behind you that are actually hurt, who can't play, now are actually going to go put bad film out there. Because the film tape matters a lot in the NFL, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Film doesn't lie, and they all watch it heavily in football. So I just found it weird. Like, I don't know. I've only ever had, at any point in your sports career, did you ever hear a kid say, I'm not playing?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, I think so at some point. Once upon a time when 10 years old, I would say, 11 years old, 8 years old, you know, like young. Not old.
Yeah,
not like
not like a grown ass man.
Yeah,
in college.
Yeah.
Like I had my sophomore basketball team. We had a guy on our team who never played. Maybe should have maybe gotten some more minutes, but just would come in, and the position he played was behind me, and I was playing a lot on the sophomore team. And then he also would come in and was just, he'd have some turnovers and X, Y, and Z, a bad attitude. And the coach kind of threw him in garbage minutes when the game didn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a minute 45 left in the game. We were up by like 15 or 20. And he's like, no, I'm not going in.
Damn.
And I'm like, oh, I've never even seen that before.
Yeah. Catches you off guard, right? It's a weird thing because then you're like, what? Well, what are you doing here then? That's what my reaction would be.
I would always get bummed when I got thrown in those times.
Yeah.
It never feels great. You never like, all right, let's see you go get some runs in. But you hope you go in there and you do something at that minute 45 or that too. And I always would try to go score a bucket. Every time I was on the court for a minute or two, I would try to score. Mm-hmm. So if I caught the ball on the block, like it was going up. Mm-hmm. Every time I would come in, even my high school class would call me 2-point Tommy. Come in, I score, get fouled, or I score a bucket.
Sure.
And I make 2 free throws, or I get fouled.
I'm gonna take a different look as well, and I'm gonna give the coach's perspective because that might be overlooked as well in this certain instance. If you are thinking that the coach is not looking out for you, you're feeling maybe neglected, all of those things that we were previously talking about. But then you're able to you get thrown in, maybe you're down 20, or you get thrown in, let's say 3 minutes left in the first half just to give a breather, or late 4 minutes left in the quarter in the game. All of those situations where maybe it's not the most ideal, it's the most clinical point of the game. I don't think, in a coach's perspective, I never thought that, let's get someone else out there because it doesn't matter anymore. I always thought of it as, okay, great, I get to play someone and actually get them game time. I never thought of it conversely in the other way. I was always, and this is such a weird rope that you have to balance on, right? Because if you're a coach that's not putting in the work at practice, or you're not showing up for video or individual check-in meetings, then that player now becomes almost like a victim or not bought in to what's going on because they feel neglected and all of those things. But if you're doing your due diligence and meeting with all these players, then I don't see where that can maybe go wrong. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So if you have the right intentions, which is what any coach, especially I guess I'm talking about experience here, because it was huge in the club game, because you got these parents and families that are paying a lot of money for their kids to be part of a team and club and paying for tournaments, all that stuff. You have to, one, you're protecting yourself as a coach, but you're also looking out for every single person, because in that instance, I mean, you are paying to play. And the fact that if you just don't find any way to either improve them and then they're not getting game time, that's a tough look. So I always try to do my best to counteract all of that and make everyone feel like they, one, are welcome, two, that they deserve that playing time, because I don't have to give them that playing time. It's ultimately the coach's decision. So I don't know. It makes me wonder what the dynamic is with the 49ers team, or is it really just a me issue, which could definitely be the case as well. Like, you get these, everyone's got egos, everyone's got feelings. Maybe he thought that this was not a great situation for him to go in at, but yeah, you can argue that that's not the way to do it. So anyways, I just want to put that spin on it.
I like that spin. All the 49ers came out and said it was like a sucker move. All the 49ers player was like, he quit on us. Like, I've never seen anything like that before. Like, that's not what we do here.
Yeah.
And then, the 49ers are in the trash right now. Like, this was kind of their year, their last real shot at it.
Yeah, I thought that they were actually going to put something together this year. Now, they've been riddled with injuries. My God, I don't think anyone has saw any of that.
Kittle is week to week, and he's had an unreal. He's been the best player on our team so far.
Who's this?
Kittle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's been great.
He's like second tight end in the league right now, points-wise in fantasy. Mm-hmm. Will Compton had another good little statement on it, which I wish I would have had a perspective of back when I was playing sports. So Will used to be like a journeyman in the NFL. He always had to eat what he killed. He's never given anything because of draft picks or athletic ability or whatever
Size.
a coach sees.
I feel like he's very undersized as well.
Yeah, he's not a huge dude. He's really smart and works hard, and he's a locker room guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's kind of like the vibe of what I would give in the locker room, I guess. Besides the hardworking part. It was.
You would lock in if you're professional. Come on, you'd lock in.
Yeah, you'd hope so. I probably have a
You'd
different
lock in.
perspective now, being who I am at this age than I did when I was
Totally.
15, 16, 17 or
Yeah.
whatever. But he had a good perspective. He was sharing. He was the starting linebacker with the green dot. The middle linebacker went down with an injury. Will was the number 2 option. It should have been, like, hands down. And they split time with the third string linebacker. So him and the third string linebacker start the next game. He was told we're going to split time. And he was super pissed about it. He's like, I've been the second. I've also worn the green dot before, basically calling the defense.
Sure.
I've been the middle linebacker.
Sure.
Like, I've done this before. Why are we splitting time with a third stringer who's never done it and unproven? Like, I should be clearly the number 2 option here.
Right.
Very upset, and goes home and has a meeting with, like, he talks to his wife about it and has some alone time, has a drink and is sitting in his backyard thinking about it. And he's like, well, there's 2 options here. Either I bitch and complain, don't put my all into this and not give a shit, and maybe I go out and I play an awful game on Sunday. Maybe I don't. Maybe I do. And I prove him right. I shouldn't have had the green dot. I shouldn't be the only guy who's wearing this because I just had a bad game.
Yeah.
And it just proved me right. So now I'm back to splitting time again until maybe I lose the job.
Sure.
Or do I lock the fuck in, have the best week of practice I possibly can, and go out there and prove him wrong and show him that there's no chance I should be splitting time with this guy.
Sure.
And sure as shit goes out there, has a good week of football, makes a couple tackles, calls the defense well when he's out there. He's not even on the right packages, he said. He's not even playing like the main packages you want to be on. And
is that for like stopping the run?
It was
is that kind of what he's
diamond
referring?
Quarter, and they outrun diamond quarter really often. And there are certain packages that he wasn't a part of that he felt gave him a better shot
at making plays.
At making
I see.
plays.
Yeah. I got you.
And maybe we're a little bit harder for coverage calls, and that's why he's in there.
Mm-hmm.
And comes out, has a good week. The next week gets a call from John Gruden, says he got the dot because he went out and played well.
That's
and I was
fire.
like, that's a really good mentality to have, instead of being like, this is mine, I should have it. I should be given it. Like, which is, I think, what every person in that position wants, like, who isn't super athletic and isn't really given a lot. You will want to be given something every once in a while, but that's just not how the way the world works when you're not an athletic, gifted freak or tall or have a special quality that automatically, gives you a shot at something.
That's a good take right there.
I liked it.
I love that.
Little extra there for you. A little more. We'll switch sports here to the NBA. Lakers suck right now.
God, they couldn't be any worse, huh?
Abysmal to watch.
I haven't
Boring.
watched any.
The NBA in general, don't remember the exact number, is down anywhere from 29 to 40% viewership this year.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard it was down. I did not know it was like almost cut in half.
Yeah,
that's
it's
wild.
29 to about 40%.
I would be very, very curious to see what the viewership is of the NFL this year.
Everywhere's up. Every other sport's up besides basketball.
Wow.
Baseball's up major. Duh.
Yeah.
Baseball is going to be...
Baseball was huge. I feel like baseball made a massive jump this year. Even I watched a little bit of baseball.
I watched more baseball.
Not regular season.
Not regular season. I watched more baseball playoffs than I watched anything else. Any more baseball than I watched. Good storylines. Players are playing great.
Pitch count.
Moving fast. Games are moving faster. I'm not there for 3.5 hours. It speeds up until you want it to slow down, which is the 7th, 8th, and 9th. Mm-hmm. It goes super fast and through the first 5 or 6 and then slows way down.
I wonder how hockey's doing.
Hockey's up.
For real.
Yeah, which is surprising.
I wonder
MLS
if
is up.
I wonder if that has to do with the Victory app.
For Ducks, it might be, but they have local viewing. But most of these, like the Coyotes, the Ducks, these smaller market teams are getting rid of their cable packages and going with things that are free to viewers, which is why they're saying basketball is down. There's no place to view it and to watch multiple teams besides TNT, which isn't every night, and the ESPN covers it very rarely. Besides like playoffs, maybe some of the tournament play that's happening right now. But
I tell you what, I'm not buying the NBA League Pass. I'm not doing it.
I don't want to watch 75.
I don't give a shit.
Whatever.
Doesn't matter to me. I don't want to pay $160, whatever it is, to watch just mediocre, half-ass basketball where guys are just yakking threes up. It's not my jam.
Yeah, basketball's in a weird spot right now. I don't really know what they do to help it. They gotta fix the viewership. So I would say you gotta, one, start promoting your young superstars. The old fucks gotta go.
Sorry, LBJ.
LeBron's gotta go. Kevin Durant's gotta go. Steph is still really exciting to watch. Yeah. But these old, like, the old
Paul George, James Harden.
Like, Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
I mean, still is fun to watch, but like it's just not, you gotta go to the young players. Luka,
Shea.
Childress Jr. Yeah. And you have all these other stars, and LaMelo on the Hornets is doing crazy shit with the basketball right now. But it's
just don't see it.
You can't see it, you can't watch it. So they gotta get their viewership back under order too. Get back on a platform where you can watch it every night. Get back on a platform where you can watch the games, watch your local team, that you don't have to have Spectrum Sportsnet to watch the Lakers.
Yeah, I'm never doing that, honestly, either.
Like,
you have to pay for that?
I mean, through your cable package, it's free if you have cable. But you have to have Cox. And if you have DirecTV, then you don't get it. Because they can't figure out a viewership deal for Spectrum.
They need to find a viewership deal for like YouTube TV of some sort. And
that's like the issue is like Spectrum doesn't want to work with these X, Y, and Z teams. And it's like, okay, now you're killing like viewership. And basketball just right now, the product in general, it's just like, I love watching basketball. I watch a lot of basketball throughout the year. I always throw it on. Maybe not all 4 quarters, but I'll definitely throw it on for 3, 4. I'll throw it on if it's a good game. I watch the most basketball probably in my family now, but it's just not a great product
to watch. How would you change the product?
You got to change some of the rules. You got to get back to hand checking. You got to be able to get back to physical defense.
Yeah.
Because what's happening now is you have made it so easy to score, it's no longer exciting.
I totally agree with you. That was going to be my one thing that they need to change. I don't care that there's 137 points scored in a game. It does not matter to me.
I used to get excited when they get close to 100.
Same.
Like,
game
oh my God,
they're going to 82, 84.
They're going to score 100 points?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Can you imagine scoring 100 points in a game?
Never happens.
Now people putting like 115, 120.
Every
almost
game.
100 in third quarter.
Yeah. I've seen, wasn't there a record of some sort last year? Like, teams are just floating in the 140s. That was the Pacers. Almost every game, they were like in the 120s to 140s.
That's just like...
That's crazy.
Maybe you gotta, so when you do that hand checking...
There's no doubt that the game of basketball has become more skilled and everyone can shoot. We're not denying that.
Great.
But let's make it more difficult for somebody to score through physical defense.
Right.
We're not saying you can't score 130 or it's not watchable.
Or you go to the FIBA rules. You can have someone camped in the paint the whole time.
That's great.
You can basically goaltend.
Yeah, I don't like that though.
Grab balls off the rim.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
that seems very abstract.
Camp somebody in the paint.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all.
Yeah, but then you have the issue of now you're taking away the inside game.
That's fair.
Because now you have 80 sitting in the paint for 45 seconds. You're going to have a hard time scoring.
Fair.
So I just think you got to get back to hand checking. I don't mind the rules of protecting players. Like, let's make sure you can't like undercut a screen and like get into a man's jumping spot.
Yeah.
Let's like I like the review process of certain fouls being, fouls. But like we've gotten so aggressive with where you put your hands and how you ride a player and how like you can, control their body. And also teams, the Lakers are starting to bring back the coach, JJ Redick, will change. I think the NBA landscape with his offense at some point needs to have the right players. Even the ex-players around his era said the same thing about him. He's going to start running some basketball that, other players and teams aren't. I was listening to a Kobe Bryant take about what it's like to watch people play basketball nowadays. And he says it's like almost unrecognizable because they don't do anything to they don't scheme. They roll the ball out there and they have motion offenses that they just run and get looks out of, where the Lakers used to scheme for people. Mm-hmm. They like to shut everything down from the left side. They don't let anyone go to the right. Even if you're a left-handed player, they'll give you the favorable side. Okay, so that means I'm going to have to overcut on the screen, which means Derek Fisher will be open in the corner. If Derek Fisher isn't open in the corner, he's going to kick it to Robert Horry in the corner. And Robert Horry will pass it to Shaquille on the block. Now I stay towards the free throw line. Or whatever it was. It was like scheming on how to score and play around a team game. Much more like football and less like soccer.
Open space, take it, flow, pass here, run here, cut there.
Yeah, but soccer is beautiful because there's only a goal that happens 5-6 goals a game maybe, if you're lucky to watch.
Sure. Not that Galaxy game we hit up.
Yeah, we should talk about that.
That was electric. I'm down. We can curb that.
Let's since I was NBA team coming to Vegas, an expansion team, that's exciting. Vegas is about to be the most popular city in the United States here coming up, and especially if you build that bullet train, buy real estate now.
Sure.
You build a bullet train from
Is that actually happening?
At some point, it will happen.
Damn.
There will be a bullet train from California to Nevada.
Could you imagine if we had that back in college?
Oh my God.
23, 24. Tickets were like $30.
Tickets could be 70 a person, 70 a pop to get you out there in an hour.
Woo. That's flying, bro.
In an hour, you're in Vegas.
That's
in college.
That's crazy.
I mean, you're there. Screw whatever I'm doing this weekend. I'm going to Vegas. I would die out there. I couldn't go out there that much. I wouldn't have a liver.
No, your stomach lining would be screwed, bro.
Dude, I have the no acid stomach lining over here. We can save the rest of this stuff, the rest of these, some of these college football takes. So let's go over some college football real quick, and then
college football,
talk a little soccer,
college football for sure. We got to touch on that. Okay. Our game's starting this weekend,
this Saturday.
That's big time.
So we got Tennessee versus Ohio, huge game. We got Clemson versus Carolina. Sorry, the thing's cutting out on me.
Let me see.
Clemson versus Texas. Indiana versus Notre Dame. SMU versus Penn State. We got bye weeks for Arizona, Oregon, Georgia, and Boise. So basically, if you win your conference, you get a bye.
That's crazy.
So who do you think? I mean, how much of college football who do you think you got for Texas, Ohio? Ohio
that's their first matchup. That's the.
I don't know about the first matchup, but
they're paired up together, right?
Yeah, that's the first round of seeding playoffs.
Wild. As long as Ohio State's not playing Michigan, they're going to be just fine. I think I take them over Tennessee. I give the nod initially over there, but I just think it's crazy for Oregon as the 1 seed
to play two of the other favorites to win it.
Bro, yes.
They have to go, if Oregon wants to win it, they have to go through the 3 top seeds to possibly win it. The top 4, the people that say they're supposed to win it are Texas, Ohio, and Tennessee. No one on the right side of the bracket has a shot, they're saying. And Texas has to play Clemson. They're going to roll Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
And then Texas plays Arizona State. They're going to roll Arizona State.
Yeah.
It's not even going to be close. So Oregon has to be either Tennessee or Ohio.
Yeah.
Which I think they'll probably have to play Ohio, which is a revenge game for Ohio, which means they're coming in with a lot of thunder. And then they're going to beat Texas. to just get into the final, to get in the chip.
Yeah, that's my biggest bugaboo with this at the moment, right?
Yeah, winning the Big Ten championship and having to play these types of seedings and going 12-0, I think it's 13-0, 12-0, to play
the two other best teams,
the 6th and 7th seed. They're
tough. Not even the 6th and 7th team though. You would make an argument. I would make an argument that they are
2, 3, 4. He has to play the top 4 teams.
Yeah. The fact that Arizona State also gets a bye and Boise State gets a bye.
Boise State's depend because
wild dog.
Indiana versus another good game. Indiana versus Notre Dame. I don't know what's going to happen. People are saying Notre Dame is a fraud. They're always fraud. So love to see Indiana pull it off. Not a huge Notre Dame fan. Penn versus SMU. Put your money on Penn. They look great. Mm-hmm. And then Penn's going to absolutely steamroll Boise. I forget the name of the running back there. He's fun to watch.
Ashton Genty?
Yeah, he might be a good pickup for a pro. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to watch college football.
I'd be surprised if he goes outside of the second round. There's no way he doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think so. We got a good little golf tournament coming up this Saturday, so maybe there'll be some college football on the cart.
That'd be fun. We got to check those times.
Yeah.
Here, I didn't realize it was going to be this big of a shit show, and I don't even follow college football all that much. It's a really big bummer, honestly, that I didn't go to a school that had more college football. It's hard for me to, of course, on the USC bandwagon, but they suck.
Whoa. Yeah, we
bro.
Suck.
I mean, they're terrible right now, dog.
I
mean, I was fully on the bandwagon.
Yeah,
I hopped on TCU. That was a lot of fun with Chris. I just don't have any. So, anyways, my point is that I know from not even watching a ton of football, damn, this feather just came up and stabbed me right in the back.
Giving you a fucking lobotomy.
Talk to this cozy corner.
Little cozy corner over here.
Hey now. I feel like it's just such a miss.
Yeah, it's tough.
I love the bracket.
Playoffs great. They'll just gotta fine tune it. It's the best. They just said, "Oh, what's the best part of college basketball? Oh, the March Madness tournament. Let's roll one out."
Yeah, and there's gonna be some kinks. There's no doubt, and clearly there is.
But you just can't give BYU a bye. You can't give ASU a bye because they won their conference.
You mean Boise?
Boise, sorry.
My thought, I was actually talking with Max, and he was saying that they might even actually do away with conference championships. And I was...
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to play them anymore.
Right. And that shook me, though, because I cannot imagine college sports without a conference championship.
Yeah, but they probably do it like soccer, right? You win a championship by points and record, not by finding the final game of the year.
And that's totally fair. That's totally fair. It's just weird to me. That's totally serviceable. That's how you would do it. It's just weird that you wouldn't have a conference championship or playoffs.
It's also just the teams that got in. Like, it's just these teams, and I don't know. Maybe it's just because of the new way college football's ran.
So if you
teams
have
like ASU can keep up because they have the money.
Yeah,
and it's alluring to go to now.
Yeah, because now you have a way into the tournament.
Right. Now you have ASU coming in. Well, we have the best party school in the world. So if you don't give a fuck about academics and you want to hang out with a bunch of hot chicks and drink and play football, you let us know. And we'll throw you a bag.
Sure.
It's just NIL deals are going to change a lot of this landscape.
Yeah. We're in a very, very slippery, fluid situation with all of this stuff. But here's a proposal for maybe next year or some sort. And there is one big downside, and it's not going to go over well with the players, but you still play your conference championship. You still get an automatic bid if you win your conference into the tournament. However, the conference championships do not factor in to your national rankings.
I think that's great.
So now so now if you win your conference championship, you automatically get in, but now you're ranked. Let's say you were ranked nationally, you were ranked 15th and you automatically get a bid and you're the lowest seed. Well, now you're the 12th in the tournament.
Yeah, maybe I like that. Maybe if you are in a conference championship, I like that. So if ASU wins their conference, they're
automatically in.
But they're out of the top 12 teams because you're in. You are the worst. You were ranked 56 nationally.
Yeah.
But since your conference sucks and you somehow pulled it off and you won your conference championship.
Just like college basketball, right?
You're not going to be ranked. You're not going to get a bye week.
Yeah.
You're going to be seeded 12 versus 1. You're going to have to play Oregon in Oregon. Right. Or you're going to have to play the number 2 if they want to go with buys.
No doubt.
They should go buys top 4. They're the top 4 ranked national team.
Yeah.
You get on different sides of the bracket, 1 and 4 on the same side, 2 and 3 on the same side. The other shit teams play each other. The other shit teams play each other, and then you seed out from there. Because you think a bye week probably important for football.
It is important for sure, and anything can happen. A crazy fumble, a couple pick sixes, missed field, whatever. I mean, I feel like it's a little bit more volatile at the same time. But it's just like basketball. It's just like college basketball. If you are ranked, in the top nationally, then you're going to come in as the 1 or 2 seed in the bracket.
Right. And then you watch 12 versus 5, 11 versus 6, 10 versus 7, 9 versus 8. And that's how you would do it.
I don't know, it's just a thought.
Yeah, the 9
that
versus
I had
8
at least
plays the 4th best team. And you would just go from there. I like that so much more than just giving, Boise is great, but they're going to get steamrolled. ASU's fun. They're going to get blown out.
The fact that ASU is even in this conversation is crazy. They were struggling for such a long time.
Well, it should be USC, but they changed conferences, and now USC can't play football.
God. Yeah. Well,
Anywho.
That's a good segment. We can just wrap on up and move on.
You want to talk? Okay, let's go. We'll go a little bit here about a new segment, and we'll touch a little bit about personal, and we can get out of here.
Roll it out.
Okay,
baby.
So the new segment here is going to be, there's 3 stages of cabbage. You're either going into the cabbage, you're in the cabbage, or you're out of the cabbage, just like life. So we're going to talk about something that maybe is putting us into the cabbage, we're fully in it, or we're on our way out. It doesn't have to be a big deal. It can be, I was listening to Christmas music. I felt a little blue this morning. Bam, I'm out of the cabbage. I was feeling a lot lighter that day. Or you were not having the greatest day in the world and just so happened to spill some salsa on your fresh white shirt, and that shit threw you right into the cabbage for the rest of the day.
Fair.
It doesn't have to, or it could be deep. We like to be a deeper podcast, so I assume some of the topics will be deep. You said you already had one queued up.
You want me to rattle us off here?
Please.
Before we get into it, remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the podcast. Be a Cabbage Head with us. Right?
Be Cabbage Heads.
There's no better time than the present.
Be in the cabbage with us, or out of it, or traveling with it. Be with us as a group.
It's fun. Be in a blender with us,
Yeah.
Or not. You get thrown out, toss back, whatever, dude.
Yeah, you're coming back in the blender.
Yeah. The blendy is a hot commodity
The blendy is always there. You're just a matter of how long you can avoid it.
Oh, that one felt good. Got to get that one out. It was just 2/3 of the way through the podcast, not the very end, just snuck it into the back end.
Yeah,
okay,
like
so I feel like I'm in the cabbage a little bit. Not going into, I'm in. And this is something that I haven't done a lot of, and I'm doing it more now recently, but it has been an issue in the past, and it's just the amount of social media that I'm just digesting. It's too much.
You're just doom scrolling?
It's too much. Honestly, the feed is fire. The feed is great. But it's just nonsense. I'm watching people jump scare. I'm watching a lot of YouTube streamers that are doing some really fun stream that are very funny and clever, pranks, cooking. It's all really great stuff that I all enjoy, but I look up and it's 3 hours go by. I'm like, oh my Lord.
There's something you really wanted to watch and you're like, dude, I can't wait to get home and to watch this thing.
Brother.
And then you just are on Reels for an hour and a half and now you're tired.
I don't know what I'm doing. And then I look at my phone and I'm like, oh my God, it's 11:30.
Yeah.
I better start it now.
Yeah, or like I'm going to bed, which has been a lot of my case recently.
I power through.
I feel that for me though. I've had to make a rule that like when I get into that bedroom, when I'm calling it a night, no social media.
Yeah.
So whatever happens in that bedroom on my phone is all show watching or bedtime.
I love that because I will sit on the couch and I will scroll, call it 2.5 hours. It's not forever, but that's a long ass time, bro. That's a movie.
We used to never sit on social media.
No, that's a movie. So then I do that, and then I'll watch a show, and it'll be a 30 or 40 minute episode, right? And now it's 12:30, so now it's time to go to bed. Mm-hmm. And then I'll pull up YouTube, and what is the first 4 things that I see is all these YouTube shorts. And there's always guys that I want to watch, which is fine. But then again, I'm back to it. And it's just like, oh my days, man. This is crazy.
And also, I don't know if you scroll on Twitter or you're doom scrolling on Insta.
It's all Insta for me.
Yeah, like that shit doesn't make me feel good. Like I get some Twitter videos of people getting like knocked out, shot.
Yeah, that's tough.
And at the end of those videos, I'm like, why do I feel crappy? It's like, oh, I just watched like 4 hours of police beatings and chases.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like that. There's something wrong with it. It's bad. It's not good. It's addicting. You know, it is hard to think what our kids are going to have to deal with in the future.
Because, it is tough, dude. It is tough.
You know, like how do you tell a kid no screen time? It's not really, it's like baked into society. So it's like, how often are you going to watch it? Are you going to be one of those dads who's like, you can never use it? And then it's like,
well, they're going to do it anyways.
Right. And what then?
That's such a fine line to balance.
You know how much easier your life is too? You know how hard it is. You come back from your 9 to 5 and you're tired and your kid's just on and around your ass and like won't leave you alone. And the only thing you can do to like get an reprieve to talk to your wife for a couple hours is throw something in front of their face to numb them out for a sec.
Fair.
Like that's tough, but that's the reality of situations, you know?
That's going to be a really test. That's going to be a big test.
For our generation.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. There's no doubt. I mean, it's already happening at the
moment.
Yeah,
like the older millennials have made iPad kids.
The way that I would maybe combat that is, yes, you can have screen time, but also like, let's go do something together. Even though I am beat and tired, I don't know. I'd rather do something. Because they're not going to be 6 forever. They're not going to be 4, 10, whatever it is. They're not going to be that age forever. And eventually they're just going to be like, fuck you, Dad. I'm going to go hang out with my friends. I'm 15, 16 now. Right? I don't know.
Right.
That's eventually going to happen. But I guess that would be my way of combating that is trying to savor and live in the moment a little bit more. Now, I'm not saying that they can't screen time, but like that would be my way.
I always thought that if I was traveling on a plane, on a bus with kids, and this would help them with their travel, because I watch shows the whole time I'm traveling. I'm never not consuming content when I'm traveling, which I've been doing a lot of recently.
Yeah, you've been hitting your miles.
I would say if I'm at home, earn your screen time. When I come home, I don't get to just sit on the couch after work and go, oh, thank God, everything's done for the day. Now I could just be a vegetable. I usually have like things I come home and do now. I usually like clean up the kitchen, make dinner, help clean something up, put some clothes away. I don't just come home and, flop on the couch. And I also don't feel good anymore, just like doing frivolous stuff without earning it almost.
That's it. I like that. That's kind of
so like do your homework. Homework's gotta be done. Like eat dinner, put the dishes away.
Yeah.
Enjoy your night. Do what you want. If you want to sit on the screen and veg out for a couple hours, all the power to you.
I mean, I was a hardcore gamer.
Yeah, like I still am. I come home, make dinner, clean it up, eat, talk to the wife for a bit, put some clothes away, and I'm gaming the rest of the night. Doors shut, hanging out, gaming.
Yeah.
So it's, It's going to be interesting to see. I could totally see how that puts you in the Cabbage. I have been in and out of the Cabbage within the same week.
Okay.
It was a weird situation for me.
What you got? Lay it on us.
I've been in the Cabbage. I've been comparing myself to other people.
Really?
Yeah. Comparing.
That may be a little bit of like an OCD thing, kind of.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Comparison heavy. When I
Okay.
feel stagnant or doing something that isn't.
Where can you give us a scenario if you feel comfortable, and like how or why, or is it in public or is it not in public?
Yeah, I don't want to go in too much detail about who or what I'm comparing myself to.
Yeah. I guess when I'm saying who, is it like maybe in the workplace, or is it in society, or is it
personal life? It's someone that, you know, like,
or you can say just talk generically about what a person would be.
So I'll compare myself to somebody like who, for example, is a YouTube golfer, right? I'm working my ass off.
I see.
I'm working my ass off. I'm traveling. I just got this great job. I'm doing X, Y, and Z. But all I can think about is like, man, I don't live in Florida. You know, I'm not just hanging out with Madison in Florida. I make a couple $100,000 a year on YouTube golf. And that's my living. I have to be a 9-to-5er who goes to an insurance job. In reality, like, I do like my job a lot right now, and my life is pretty great. But I'm like robbing my present because I'm so consumed by not being this one type of person. And normally I start recognizing it and I can kick myself out of it, but recognizing it first. And that's usually when I start feeling like I get bored or stagnant about something, or just like I'm back on the grind. It's like, am I back doing this shit again? You know, like, this is who I am. Something that got me out of the Cabbage, though, within the same time, was Christmas music. Got me right back into the present.
It's so funny.
It got me. I love Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, it does hit different, huh?
I love Bing Crosby.
Just give me one of those snowmakers on top of the roof so I can just see maybe something fake going on outside to really set the mood, you know? I
Yeah.
feel like it does need to be at the very least, raining. And then you're like I'm like, oh, now I'm cozy.
Yeah.
Give me the birchwood up on the TV.
I love just hearing. My favorite time and era, I guess, for myself would like go back into would be that Vegas era of the Rat Pack. And something about like Frank Sinatra singing and thinking about like him. He wasn't that great of a guy, but his singing in that time period, I guess, brings back a thought of like a simpler, less stressful time and place in life. You know, like, you didn't have to compare yourself to other people because like everyone kind of lived the American dream.
Sure. Oh, and there's not social media.
Yeah. Social media is a huge part of it. But yeah, listen to Frankie hit some of those notes, swung my ass square out of the Cabbage. Had a fresh iced coffee from my favorite place down the street. Little Frankie Sinatra on the radio, and I was square out of it again.
I love that, dude.
But yeah, love this topic. I think this is great.
We got to keep that rolling. You know what's also a little bit scary too? When we're talking about the future generation, I'm wondering, I mean, obviously Frank Sinatra is not going to die, but it's not going to mean the same.
Oh, it'll transcend. There's people like you and me out there where like I'll be listening to Frank Sinatra and our kid's gonna hear it and he's like, oh, why is dad like this guy? And like, oh, it's old school. You gotta see like him wearing suits and doing this. You know, those types of artists transcend.
Will transcend. I hope so. I hope so. That's
think
worry.
The next generation, our kids' generation, is gonna be the generation of gold. I think they're gonna figure out health the best. They're gonna have the best lifestyle. Gold meaning health and lifestyle.
I think if you can resist the urge of all the temptation and worry about the stuff that matters to you and what actually brings happiness, then they are going to far outshine because there's so many distractions out in the world where these kids are growing up. Mm-hmm. If you're able to like combat that and see what is important, you're gonna rise above.
If you can just turn the blinders on and be like, social media isn't real, and listen to the parents because I feel like our generation was the last generation to hit this bullshit. The shitty stuff in the Americans' food, the education system, drugs, like drug peddling, all this shit that was like,
hey now,
old school stuff.
Yeah.
Take this, you're ADHD, you have this, you got that, X, Y, and Z, eat this red dye, here's some Sour Patch Kids, eat a bowl of cereal, bread's great for you, bread's awful for you. Like all that shit's kind of fading away here.
Yeah.
If they can just lock in and understand, like,
the knowledge is all, you're saying the knowledge is all there.
It's going to be there.
Yeah. And I feel like it is right now. Currently.
Right now
you can shuffle through all the BS with pretty quickly, honestly.
Right now, yeah, for sure. I mean, we just hit at like an age of 22-ish to now. I feel like the younger generation is going to get nothing but, like right now, if I was to buy my kids' food, it'd be organic. There'd be no cereal. Yeah. It'd be like,
I know.
It'd be so much different than what my house looked like.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Crazy.
And I just feel like...
I mean, it's also no knock to our parents,
right.
But my house and your house look tremendously different than our parents currently do. And so now it's even going to be a further, you're saying.
Right. It's just going to be like, you're going to be eating much better. Hey, why do I used to be dehydrated as a kid all the time.
Same.
Looking back on it, I'll be like, why did I used to feel weird during afternoon breaks? And like lightheaded. I was like on the verge of dehydration.
Yeah.
Had no clue.
No water. And then you'd go play recess. Mm-hmm. No
and
water again
drink
at lunch.
Chocolate milk.
Right.
And it's like that type of shit's not happening anymore.
Sure.
And if it is, it's like, whatever. They'll figure it out. But I just feel like this next generation should be like, sure. Our kids are going to be...
Sure.
I
like that segment. That segment is here to stay for sure. It's a great one. Shame on us for not actually coming up with that. That was a good idea. Great pull by you. We did that a little bit informally. We're now going to do it a little bit more of like a labeling and kind of speak to it kind of a thing.
Yeah,
I
it's like
that.
We used to say, oh, what's got you in the cabbage? But there's things, you're not always, we don't always want to be doom and gloom, Like, being in the cabbage in a golf round is such a temporary thing in a full golf round.
Yeah.
It's usually one shot. Maybe you hit a bad one, might be two. But you're always going in, out, or around it, It's never a permanent state of mind. Mm-hmm. So,
what are your thoughts on some holiday stuff? Can I rattle a couple things off?
Please.
What about just like candy canes? Are you ever a big candy cane person?
I like candy canes. I like the sweet tart candy canes.
I was gonna say, did you ever get the ones that had like a bunch of different colors?
Sweet tart candy cane slap.
Whoa, those were good.
Yeah,
and they can make like little icicles out of them. Mm-hmm. Start stabbing people.
Yeah, make shivs. Candy cane shivs. Yeah, I would do that. What else you got for me?
What's your thoughts on Christmas sweaters?
Ugly ones or normal ones?
Let's go. Ugly ones. Are they overhyped?
Yeah, overhyped. I'm kind of over the ugly Christmas sweater parties.
Overplayed?
Yeah, the sweater parties, whatever. I have one. It is what it is. Some of my favorite holiday traditions, love Christmas lights.
Yeah, Christmas lights are nice.
Love driving around looking at Christmas lights. I think a real tree is overrated.
Yeah. I also think, though, that the smell is really incredible.
There is...
you can buy those little things that you put in there. Yeah, I know. That I'm with you. I'm plastic.
Yeah.
I go plastic tree all the way. The lights are already up. That's the one thing that I'm going to have a really big bugaboo with is putting up lights on the house.
Yeah, probably going to do it for the first time myself, and then I'll probably pay somebody to do it the rest of the time.
God, man, that's going to be tough. I remember my dad just out there all weekend long. I'm just like, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
And I have to help them for like an hour, and I'd be like losing my bananas.
Or you could pay somebody like $300 to go put them up. They buy the lights for you.
Yeah.
You store them. They wrap them all up. You put them in a container. You store them. They come back. The price is reduced, and you store the lights for them. They come do the same job.
Genius.
Genius. One of my clients does a light stringing business on the side.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They make pretty good money doing it. Gingerbread houses, don't really do them. I hate arts and crafts. Christmas cookies slap.
Gingerbread houses are gross.
No, they're not really fun to eat. And they kind of suck to put together. They're real messy.
Yeah, not a fan.
We have a Christmas, like I love tradition as long as the tradition is easily repeatable.
Mm-hmm.
If your tradition requires a lot of effort and it is a pain every year, not my fave.
No, not.
I like an easy.
Do you have one that's a pain?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy. Here we go. Care to share or no?
I mean,
keep that one close to the heart.
No one's listening about an hour and 1 minute left in the podcast.
Let it fly, baby.
My wife,
oh, okay,
who I love dearly, loves tradition.
Okay.
Big tradition girl. And that's great. Most daughters in the family are. Because for shit, her brothers aren't going to follow up with any sort of tradition. Right? I'm a dude.
Someone's got to keep it alive.
Someone's going to try to do it. Madison really loves making Christmas cookies for everyone.
Okay.
Every year. These cookies are a 2-day process.
A 2-day process?
Well, now they are, which is easier than 1 day. They used to be a 1-day process.
And that took 5-6 hours?
It felt that way.
Probably, bro.
It takes a lot of effort.
Yeah.
You basically bake the cookies 1 day. These are just basic, boring-ass
chocolate chips?
Sugar cookies.
Are you doing sugars?
And then you frost them the next day. Which is, can be fun for if you do 2 or 3. We're doing boxes of sugar cookies. People are getting boxes of 7, 8 sugar cookies.
Rewrite the script.
I can't.
You got to rewrite the script.
I tried.
Half banana bread, half cookies.
That could work. We've done it where we do.
Hey! Look at me being a guy and trying to break tradition, huh?
Yeah. We've tried to set up a thing where we bake a one type of cookie that's not sugar, like chocolate chips. Everyone gets a handful of chocolate chips, 3, 4 sugars. It just add more work. You're baking 2 different things now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it makes my wife, for whatever reason, she loves doing it. She loves to see joy on people's faces. God bless her. She loves doing it and she's willing to put the work in. But boy, how he's to stress her the fuck out. Mm-hmm. And it's just
who gets to deal with that?
Poppy. So it's just a little extra that, add into life. But it's okay.
Because it is part of the holidays. It is part of the spirit.
I get to complain about it. I get a little drunk when I'm making cookies. I eat a couple cookies.
It could be worse.
I QC check it. I'm hanging out.
QC check that thing.
You got to QC a couple of them, make sure they're up to standard. But yeah, man. You got anything for the people?
Golf round this weekend. Little 2-man basketball.
Yeah. The first round of many coming up where we got to kind of lock in.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
We got to start tracking. I'm going to start. I know Chris keeps setting us up to go play for the range or go play the round. I'm not going to play as many rounds this year, but I am going to go hit the range more often.
I do want to hit the range. Let's go at some point next week or the following, whenever we got a little bit of downtime or we're through the weeds of the holidays and whatnot.
Yeah, let's wait until after Jan 1st to start hitting the range.
Because we're eventually going to have Barstool coming up. And
I need to lose some weight for that. Need to put on some, muscle back on. And I want to play well. I don't want to go out. If I don't play well, that's fine. I just don't want to go out there with regrets.
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't want to go out there and spend $550 and be like,
oof,
I didn't play very well. I didn't do anything.
It's tough because now you're putting a lot of expectation on yourself.
No, I wouldn't say expectation. I would just want to go out there and say, hey, I actually practiced. I rolled putts. I went to the range. I ate well.
Fair.
When the rounds I could play as a team.
Fair.
With you and I.
Yeah.
I tried.
I like it. I don't know. I guess one maybe claim or a take. I feel like this could be one of our best golf years that could be coming up.
Could be.
For those reasons that you're talking about, right? We're passing that hill of like, okay, we recognize the good, we recognize the bad, we know what it takes, sort of a thing. We've been on this like kind of 3-year journey of trying to actually become like pretty solid golfers, I would say, but also still have a lot of fun with it. I feel like we're kind of we could be there. Let's get you to that 10.
I feel like this year of golf was a little disappointing, if I'm being honest, for myself.
That's what I'm saying. You hit a plateau.
Yeah.
You personally, and I kind of hit a little bit of a plateau, but because last year the year prior you were like a 17, 18, and you got all the way down to like a 12.
I was like a 10.
Were you a 10 to 8?
I was like a 10.8 or something.
Yeah. Okay, I do remember that. Now you're back at 11.
11.
Yeah, and you kind of stayed there for the entire year.
Yeah, I didn't really switch.
Kind of went back to 10-9, 12-1 in that range.
I just think it was when I was losing a lot of strokes on my round. I was learning how to play golf and playing a lot of golf.
Yeah. Now you want to start repping it out.
I need to start repping the swing out now. I know how to play golf. I know how to aim. I know the mental side of it and what to do to play good golf for myself. I need to learn how to do it consistently now.
Yeah.
Not go out there and shoot a 92. Go out there and shoot 87s, 86s consistently and start looking closer to breaking the 80 mark a lot more often.
You're sniffing 80 to 82 a lot.
A lot.
Anyways, that's just my claim take. Guess what we got for the people. More exciting things down the pipeline. So,
podcast is going to keep rolling.
Yeah, continue to stay tuned. That's what I got.
Goal for Mile Square eventually for us to hit to, I think we have a chance of winning the Barstool if we shoot 7 under.
Talking about this weekend?
Yeah. Just in general, if we can start averaging a 7 under together on most courses, 7 to 8 under as a best ball, I think we will have a shot at winning or placing in the Barstool.
Is it individual best ball or is it team best ball?
It's team best ball with handicap. A normal score is about 4 to 5 under for a dub.
So we would be, let's call me a 7, you're a 10, 17, 2 would be like an 8.5.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends.
It's 4 ball, so it's team best ball.
It's combined handicap, though.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, we'll figure that one out, I guess, and get back to you guys. But
I would say we gotta look to be about an 8 under at most rounds for us to have a shot at the Barstool. To win the Barstool, we probably need about 4 or 5.
8 under's a lot. So we're playing level par, essentially. I think tomorrow we gotta really. Because we played Mile Square so often. What did we get for our scramble? 5?
5?
Yeah, I think we got to get to 2 or 3 tomorrow or on Saturday.
That's the minimum.
I'm saying gross 2 or 3.
Oh, gross? Yeah, gross
2 or 3 at Mile Square because we played it so much.
I'm saying net 8 under, 9 under for us to have a shot.
Right. I'm with you.
Because the net will be for these tournaments we're playing are going to be much harder.
Way more difficult.
So 4 or 5
courses
under.
We have not played before.
Yeah, 4 or 5 unders might win it.
Mm-hmm.
Which we should also do our research on these courses. We should watch videos. We should maybe scheme a bit and what we're going to try to do before we do it. Anyways, we got things to do. We got Ryder Cups to plan.
Yeah, we got to wrap this thing up.
All right.
Take us away.
Like, comment, subscribe, because we're in the Cabbage and we're not going anywhere. And just a reminder, keep swinging.